너만 사랑할 나일 테니까 Because of you Now I can say I love you 사랑하는 이유 Because of you
Unipolar depression. It describes the type of depression that most people have called unipolar because it refers to someone's mood being pulled to one direction. This is different to bipolar, where a patient have mood swings from happy to sad, which is pulled from two directions. The symptoms of unipolar depression. According to the International Classification of Disease version 10, or also known as ICD, unipolar depression is also known as depressive episodes. These are types of mental health problem characterized by mood disorder. Mood disorder affects how these people feel. These episodes of depression are the period of time where it can be classed as mild, moderate, or severe. The symptoms can be suicidal feelings, loss in passion, poor sleep, fatigue, poor appetite, lack of self-esteem, guilt, and anxiety. Main symptoms of unipolar depressions are feeling of upset, lack of energy after a long rest, and lack of motivation to do things. One of these symptoms should be present for at least 2 weeks. Incidence of depression over time. There is way more people who's diagnosed with depression now than the past. A report by the King Fund in 2008 on mental health in England estimate that by the year of 2026, 1.45 million people will be diagnosed with depression, compared to 1.24 million people in 2007. How depression affects individual and society. One impact on an individual is an increase on suicidal rate, due to the feeling of worthlessness and sadness which makes someone seek a way to escape. If they think no one cares about them, they will not care about the consequences of their suicide. It was suggested that 10 to 15% of the people with severe depression committed suicide. Depression also has an effect on the society. Depression can cause decrease in absence rate of workers. This is because if you are sad, you feel unmotivated, and you will not come to work and be less keen to go. Another effect is that the cost of treatment for depression. Figures from 2007 estimate that treatment for patients with depression costs the NHS $1.7 billion in that year alone. Genetic explanation of unipolar depression. There's evidence that if someone in your family develops depression, there is a chance you might get it too, but not very family develops depression. Twin study. It is useful of looking at influences of genes. Monozygotic twins or identical twins share 100% of the genes, and dizygotic twins only share 50% of the same genes. McGuffin et al. 1996 found out that there was a 40% chance of monozygotic twins both having depression and 20% chance of dizygotic twins to both have depression. This shows that depression might be genetic because the chance of monozygotic is far greater than dizygotic. Not all family members related to someone with depression will go on to get depression themselves, but they need an environmental factor to trigger the genes to become active. This would mean that some people have genetic predisposition to become depressed because genes increase their risk. However, they only get depressed if there is stressful life event. This combined explanation for depression is often called the diathesis stress model. Evaluation. One strength of this theory is that it helps the society to understand and accept people with depression because they know that some people are just genetically vulnerable and they are more likely to get depression. One weakness of the genetic theory of depression is it is very deterministic because it assumes that you have a certain gene, you are more likely to become depressed, and there's no way of changing it. However, Some people argue that you have free will to choose whether or not you let yourself become depressed. Another strand is that there's a lot of research evidence supporting the idea of some people are more prone to depression than others. For example, Caspi et al. 2003 found out that people with variation of serotonin transporter genes were likely to react negatively to stressful life events and develop depression. This would support the claim that genes play a significant role in developing depression. Another weakness is that some people argued that this is reductionist because it fails to take into account other factors that cause depression. People often think that depression is linked to life events such as death in the family or someone losing their job. It is too simplistic to assume that it is just an abnormal gene that makes someone depressed.